Motivation. Motivation's great when you have it, but it comes and goes, and more often than not, you're not going to be able to rely on it being there for you. I can certainly think of loads of times in my life where, I've tried to set a goal and it doesn't take long before I give up on it. And the reason for that, it's because, there's two main reasons. The first is it's because I tried to make too drastic a change in too short a time. I got very overzealous at the start because, I was super motivated about this new goal, and that tends to be what happens. You start a new goal and you're super motivated about it. When you make all these big plans about how you're going to stick to this every day, and you're going to do 6 hours of work a day and all this and all that. But then come day 2, 3, 4, you're at most a week, and you've fallen off. You can't put up with it anymore. You can't do it. It happens to everyone. It's happened to me. But here is how I've rectified this. So I want to explain to you something called the Goldilocks rule. Basically what this rule says is that there's a sweet spot where our motivation can stay at a consistent level if we keep our goals in this sweet spot. And what the sweet spot is you want to keep it at a just manageable level of difficulty. So what I mean by that is, imagine you're playing football against a child. It's going to be really, really easy to beat the child in the football, because like a 4-year-old, and you're an adult, you're gonna beat them in the game. It's a simple matter of fact. Now, imagine yourself playing against, Ronaldo or Messi, some of the best players in the world. You're not gonna have a chance. You're too far on one side of the spectrum or the other. It's either too easy or too hard. If it's too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you lose interest because you can't make any progress. What you want to find is a sweet spot. So imagine now you're playing football against one of your friends, and you've both been playing for the same amount of time, and you're both at a very, very equal level of skill. All of a sudden becomes a lot more interesting, because now you're winning as much as you're losing. It's give and take. It's back and forth. It's more dynamic. There's more of a competition, and it's because you've kept that sweet spot, that Goldilocks spot. That's where it comes from. You ever hear the story about Goldilocks and the 3 bears? The porridge is too hot, the porridge is too cold, the porridge is just right. That's where the name comes from. But you want to find that sweet spot where it's just difficult enough that it keeps you interested, where every day it's not a challenge, but it is a challenge. You want to keep it so that every day is a challenge, but it's not hard enough that you feel sort of overwhelmed by it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and this is the second reason, is because people get bored of the consistency. So the difference, right, this is one of the main differences between people who succeed and people who fail. The people who succeed are the ones that stick at it even when they really, really don't want to. They stick at it. Because if you can't stick at it, you're not doing the work. And if you're not doing the work, you're not going to go anywhere. The people who succeed are the ones who show up every day, be it rain or sun, or they're sick or they're healthy. They don't take days off because the weather's not good enough or because they don't feel like it that day. They put in the work every single day. People who don't put in the work don't get anywhere. It's a simple fact of life. And I want to also explain to you why they get bored. The reason they get bored is because there's no variation in the reward or the failure. And what I mean by that is, right, if you know somebody who gambles, right, the reason people gamble is because, and the reason it's such an addictive thing to do, is because there's this sweet spot between winning and failing. Some days you win, sometimes you fail. And it's that buzz, it's that sweet spot between where they don't know if they're going to win or fail. That's what makes it such a hook. That's what makes it so addictive. And you kind of want to transfer that same idea to your work. And you do that by making it a manageable level of difficulty. Because if you're showing up at work every day, and some days you have bad days, and then some days you have great days, that difference makes it more interesting, makes it more fun, because you don't know what you're going to get. And if you have that mix of emotions, it makes it so much more interesting. People get bored of the same thing over and over and over. If you keep winning and keep winning and keep winning and keep winning, eventually you get bored. Again, like I said, if you're playing football against the child, you keep winning, you get bored. There's no competition. I guarantee you, right? Think about a time in your life where you've had to compete for something. Think about how motivated you were, how excited you were, how badly you wanted to win. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by the Goldilocks rule. It's that level of competition. It doesn't necessarily have to be with a person. It can be with yourself, or well, not with yourself, but when you compete against somebody of equal level, or you're competing in a way where you don't know if you're going to win or fail, it makes things so much more interesting. And that's what gets you motivation. You're motivated when things are interesting, when things are new, when things aren't the same. That's why you were motivated at the start, because you're trying something new. You're taking a new step. You're starting a new habit. New. It's because it's new. New things generate interest. So if you keep every day interesting, then chances are you're rarely going to get bored. Now, when you do get bored, you have to stick through it. You have to stick through the boredom. You're always going to be bored some days. It's going to happen eventually. You have to stick through it. But if you can stick through it, your chances of getting to where you want to be are so much higher, because that already sets you apart from 99% of people. People who can stick through the hard work to get to where they want to be. Like, I've had plenty of times where I haven't stuck through the hard work and I didn't get to where I wanted to be. And just recently I've started a new schedule for myself, and I'm maybe not sticking to 100%. I'm maybe not sticking to it 100%, but I'm sticking to it as much as I can. And it makes my days so much more interesting, because I've had days where I've sat around and done nothing, and it's boring. Life's boring. I've also made it in a way where every day my goals for the day might not be the same. So it creates that little bit of interest I was talking about, where it's not the same every day. I've also laid it out in a way where I'm not overwhelming myself with work. I've given myself a bit of leeway, but I have to do the work. So it's hard to get out of bed in the morning sometimes and get out of bed and start doing the work because it's the first thing I do in the morning. But it's a manageable amount of work. So it's in that Goldilocks zone, that sweet spot I was telling you about. And I feel so much better now than I did back then, because I'm putting in some competitive work into something. When you have a goal, your life is so much more interesting. Things are so much more interesting whenever you have something to aspire to. So why wouldn't you set a goal? Just think about it. And if you are setting goals and you're struggling with motivation, and you're struggling to show up every day, look up the Goldilocks zone. Use it. Use what I've explained to you today. You'll find it so much easier.